Hi, Rebecca here, back for a book chat. I've decided they're not reviews because I talk more about the book than actually give it a review. So I'm hopefully going to do 3 books, and hopefully we'll get to 3 minutes this time and not go over. So the 3 books I'm going to do today are more for children in high school. They're for older audiences. We've got Booked by Kwame Alexander, Ghost Boys by Jewel Parker Rhodes, and Jason Reynolds' Ghost, which is part of the series. Okay, so let's start with Booked, because Booked was my favourite out of all of them. Now, I can't say that I didn't like any of these. They were all fabulous, but this was my favourite, and the main reason being because it was written in verse, and I didn't realise how powerful verse could be. So basically, I'm looking down at my notes, Booked is about a young boy, Nick, who's in grade 8, and he lives with his mum and dad, and he loves soccer, and everything's going well, up until something drastic happens. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but his world just sort of falls apart. And I've chosen a piece of verse. So rather than being written in chapters, they're written in verse, and so each piece of verse has its own title. So it's almost like a chapter. So the first one is Thought. It does not take a math genius to understand when you subtract a mother from the equation, what remains is negative. Really, really powerful. Really powerful for kids that are going through problems. Really powerful for kids that are looking at parents separating. Has some fantastic characters. I love the librarian in it. And Nick is just great. He has his emotions, but it's all spelled out really clearly in this lovely book. Fantastic book. The next book I'm going to talk about is this one, Ghost Boys. Now, this is really powerful again. It is written for, some people say 8 to 12-year-olds, some people say 10 plus. I think if you're an Australian reader, it's probably more for 10 plus, because the content of it is very American. It's about Black Death, basically. A young boy, I think he's 10, but he could be 12. Hang on, no, it says 12. A 12-year-old boy is shot and killed by a police officer on duty, and the story is the aftermath. So it starts with what's happening for him at school, and then he is killed, and then he comes back as a ghost. And what goes on? He actually makes friend with the police officer's daughter that kills him, and it's just a really powerful book, and really made me understand a little bit about what kids in America might be going through, especially to do with race. Right, the next book, Ghost, again another American book dealing with possibly American issues, but I can see it affecting some people here in Australia. It's about a young man called Castle, but he wants to be known as Ghost, and he's living with his mum, and he's dealing with pretty awful things that have happened in the past to him, things that his father's done to him and his mother, and just trying to get through life, and he finds the track, and I'll just read you a little bit. Okay, so okay, I didn't say nothing, and the coach followed up with, "This is a private practice." I still didn't respond, and just started scrunching the sleeves of my t-shirt up to my shoulders. "Did you hear me?" the coach now asked, a little louder this time. He started walking toward me. The other kids were looking at me like most kids did, like I was something else, like I wasn't one of them. But whatever. "Do you not understand what private means?" the coach jeered. I thought of a funny comeback, but kept it to myself. "Yeah, man, the track is for runners, not people who want to pretend like runners," Lou jabbed, now standing straight. He looked me up and down, then flashed an arrogant grin. "Just blow the whistle," I finally called back to the coach. He stopped in his track and glared. Then he looked at Lou before continuing in my direction. He pointed his clipboard at me. Really great, and a kid finding his place. So they're my 3. Thank you for listening.